Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Hey, thank you all for all your comments and everything that you've been putting on the channel. We really appreciate it. And your emails. You know, you guys with your questions give me a lot of ideas of what I need to put up on the channel for you guys. And the biggest thing that we're seeing lately is questions having to do with retirement or moving over to Italy. Pretty much one and the same. So let's jump in. I have 10 super important things that you need to know about and start thinking with before you move to Italy. And the first one is the elective residence visa. Now you do need a visa if you're going to live there, and the elective residence visa is the one that you get. It happens in 2 stages. The first one you have to do at home at your consulate. So don't come running over to Italy thinking you can do it there, because you can't. And there are some very definite passive income requirements that you need to have in order to qualify for this visa. It's not like something you could just run over there and get. So in a nutshell, you do have to have passive income in the amount of 31,000 euros per year in order to qualify for the elective residence visa. And that's if you're a single person. For a couple, it's 38,000. If you have minor children, it's another 20% on top of that. So these are the requirements. And when they talk about passive income, they're talking about some kind of income that is expected to keep going indefinitely, right? Rental income is one. Various other retirement benefits and things like that, if they're paid out as income, count. So this is something that you really need to keep in mind. If you have a huge retirement account but you don't have passive income, you might want to get with Nick Mehta or a finance specialist to structure it as passive income. And that's something I'll leave to the professionals. But anyway, be aware that that is what you need. There's also some other requirements. I think you need another 31,000 in a bank account somewhere. So if you have an IRA or some other fund like that, that counts as far as I know. Again, check with Nick Mehta at Studio Legale Mehta, because he's a pro on all of this stuff. And we actually have been using them a lot, and our guys have been using them a lot to get our elective residence visas and make the process as smooth as possible. There can be bumps in the road. There can be whimsical requests from the clerks and things like that. So you really need somebody in your corner that knows all the ins and outs. The second thing you need to know is how Italian taxes work. There are some things that are different in Italy that are not the same in the US. And you want to make sure mostly that you're not paying duplicative taxes, meaning you're paying taxes in the US and also in Italy. There are some definite tax offsets. Initially, when we were looking of actually living over there, we're like, oh my God, the taxes, we really don't want to deal with that. But again, Nick Mehta is a PhD in Italian tax law and has lived and is living currently in the US. So he knows all about that kind of thing. We were surprised at how many offsets there were and how many ways to get around being way overtaxed on everything, and how to avoid paying duplicative taxes both in the US and in Italy. Another thing I'd like to caution you on, and we've seen it mostly lately, is the volatility in the dollar versus the euro. Now, if you're from Canada or Australia, that's a different circumstance, but it's still something to pay attention to. Volatility in your home currency versus the euro can really affect how you afford living in Italy or any European country that depends on the euro. We're lucky now because the dollar is very strong. When we first bought our property in Italy, the dollar was, it was $1.49 for each euro. Now we're down at like 104. Earlier this week or last week, it was 98 cents. It's been very volatile. So when you move, make sure you live somewhere that's affordable enough that you can allow for these little changes or sometimes big changes in the exchange rate. Another thing, and I know you guys know this, but learn Italian. You have to learn Italian. You will feel lost. You will always feel like an expat if you don't know Italian. And the best way to learn Italian, from what I've seen, talking to everybody and my own personal experience, is to have an online tutor. Have one that you meet with minimally once a week and go over all the questions with him, go over the tenses, go over how the structure of the language is, and you will get it. I promise you. The guys who get the online tutors, those are the ones that are speaking Italian. Another very important thing that you might not think about over in Italy is having somebody pay your bills for you, your bills and your taxes. They're all funny schedules and they're all different. Honestly, if I were going to pay my own bills, I would have a spreadsheet of the dates and put all kinds of calendar things in. But we pay somebody to pay our bills, and he has been wonderful for years and years and years, really the last 10, 11 years. That's Ivan Di Luca at Casabella. Not only is he a fabulous real estate agent, but he's also a great bill payer, and he's never missed a deadline. Here's another piece of very important information, and this actually ties in with the video that we just put up, and that is if you are a resident of Italy, you are entitled to universal health care over here. In addition, the health care is really not that expensive. Definitely go check out our video interview with Dr. Armenio, because he goes over what the costs are. Say you have a heart attack, God forbid, or you break a bone or something. What are the costs involved? Do you even need any supplemental insurance? And how is it with the universal health care in Italy? So I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. Another thing you want to keep in mind is that in summer, tourists come. Tourism is a huge market in Italy, and many of the towns and villages do get quite busy during the summer season. So just know that when you're going to go live in Italy, make sure that you're okay with a lot of tourists in the summer season if it's a touristy place. As you go inland, the more mountainy areas, there's probably not the huge influxes of tourists that we see along the coast, but we see a lot of them. Another thing I cannot recommend strongly enough is really get to know your mayor and your police chief in your area. They are generally so helpful and so welcoming, and they are just a really great source of information. If something happens and we're concerned, we just ask Adriano, who's the chief of police in Scalea, and he always has an answer for us. And we just feel safer and more connected with the community when we know the mayor and we know the police chief. And the final thing I wanted to say is just watch the customs in your area. And in this way, you can look and see how the flow of life is. You can look and see what's accepted and what's not, and you can avoid offending your neighbors. That's an easy one. That's a fun one. I think you're really going to enjoy that part. So I hope all of these things help you. I will be putting up helpful hints on life in Italy, retiring in Italy, moving to Italy, and our Calabria property alerts, which you guys love. We have some really good news about some new associates. They are coming on thick and fast, and we're really just loving it. So stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications button and like this video if you like this video. See you soon.